Hit the button. Should probably just open up my YouTube. I don't know what I'm doing. Says live. Okay, so it looks to be coming through all right. That looks all right. Kind of wish I didn't have to deal with like the windows. If I could just like scooch that out. A little space in there. That doesn't look too bad. Should probably... I shouldn't have to deal with the glare from this. This is a problem. But I can't like... I can't do this anywhere else. Unless I just like got a smaller monitor, but that's, you know, money. Huh. Alright, so let's make this smaller so I can manage live streaming at the same time. Okay, that seems alright. At least for now, because, like, I don't know. Let's grab a... Yeah, the only viewer is me. Coding software, stream info. I don't need stream info. Encoding software. Eh. How do I share it with people? Like, how do I share this live stream? Just go to my channel. Oh, okay, there it is. Just go to my channel. Hey, the audio sounds good. Oh, okay, there it is. Just go to my channel. Oh god, it started to loop. Oops. All right. Okay, so is it taking all of my desktop audio? I'm not a fan of that. But I guess it's otherwise fine. Let's drop this onto... Oh, I got a inbox thing on Tumblr. Probably for the cat blog. Oh, no. Oh, that must have been one that Maria already got to. Alright, let's share this on Tumblr at least. Someone might stop by. Okay, cool. Alright. So, like... what I need to do is I need to figure out what I want to do today. And I got my notebook, so I can write down like the shit that I want to reference. And I need something to, you know, have my players do. I need to like get that covered. That is, I have a curtain, but not like, oh well, it'll get dark later. Well, I don't have what I want to do. I have like where my players started. And given where they started, or where they're starting this week, it's not like too difficult to know where to go. I just kind of like need to throw some like actual forest things at them, and then just kind of like figure out what's worthwhile from there. And I don't know if I want to, like, they got to get to the village. I feel like enough suspense is built up. Like, we wasted so much time that I feel like another session where they don't get to their destination, it's going to lead to either the feeling of like hopelessness or that I'm just totally screwing them over. Like, we built up the anticipation for like, okay, we got sidetracked. We need to go catch this kid. That I feel like it would be important to do so. But let's see if I can add a yeah, I can. Let's see if I can add that to like the actual factual stream though. Add window capture. There we go. Don't capture the cursor. Let's see. Let's add a oh no, I don't want that. Oh god, I don't want that. Remove that shit like immediately. I just want OneNote. Because if I can do that, I can show y'all my notes. Darn. Okay, well, let's see if I can then move this down to here. Don't need that, don't need that. Don't need that anymore. So let's make that just a bit bigger so I can actually see it. And then let's add a display capture. No, I want the other one. Why can't I, Oh, does a VGA only go one way? Interesting. Okay. So I need to figure out how to add one note so that I can actually, like, share my session notes with you. But I suppose, like, if I just, like, add the image of Endina, then we're fine. Chaotic stupid. Let's go with the world. Places, countries. There we go. Okay. So let's... So, like, we're right here. Oh, shit. Can I, like, just set it up so it's constantly capturing my cursor when I'm, like, over the thing? I can't do that, can I? Oh. That's fine. So, I don't know. Let's get that back down to a normal size. Yay. All right. And... let's grab that Sick Monster Manual. You know, I wish this was listed by challenge rating rather than, like, alphabetized and grouped by type. Because when, especially for, like, for new DMs, I just want a thing that I can throw at them. And I feel like that's better served by a list of, you know, by a list of challenge rating. Now, I kind of have an idea. Like, I just threw a shit ton of goblins at my players, and one of them got knocked unconscious, but they never really came that close to death, but they felt like they were close to death. And that in and of itself is really fucking valuable. Because when a player feels closer to death than they actually are, then I feel like that means that you're providing adequate tension and drama. And that's, you know, the whole of the job. That's the entire thing. So without that, you don't have much of a place to go. And I'm not sure... Shattered steep hills, tundra, primeval forest, protected by treants, or corrupted by demon-worshipping gnolls. I feel like I should start throwing gnolls in this campaign. I mean, I just threw a shit ton of goblins at them. Or I guess they threw themselves at a shit ton of goblins, would be more accurate. But the use of gnolls as a more, like, I don't want to say more intelligent, because goblins are plenty intelligent. You know, they're sapient beings. I feel like with gnolls, though, they're kind of more akin... They're basically just goblins, but willing to go more out of their way to cause destruction. How I use goblins is more like... I want to say basically the kobolds of the forest. I don't feel like kobolds are... personally, like, super appropriate unless, like, you're about to introduce a dragon. Like, kobolds are the anticipation to that, or in a campaign where dragons are heavily featured, which in mine they are going to be ideally featured, but once they branch out, this is a thing that my players don't know, but one of the reasons that this area isn't particularly dangerous, like, on the broad scale, at least for now, is that they're being protected, by several gods. And one major one by sea and one of the orc gods, actually. Which one I haven't totally decided, but It's just that I made the mistake of starting them out at level 3, and I wasn't necessarily ready for that. So I don't want them to level up too fast, if I'm being totally honest. I want to be able to know that I am capable of running this show. And my players seemed very eager last time that we played about what was going to happen next because of their role play and my descriptions of certain events and transitions that one character made, as well as the fact that we do this on Discord. I have to describe everything verbally, and it becomes very difficult. I'm considering what I think I should do is use not Roll20, but actually just live stream the campaign so that all my players can mute it, but they would have access to all the visuals I'm using. So if I wanted to draw up a map of, let's set myself up so I can actually sit in front of this kid. So if I could set myself up to be just set myself up with maps of encounters and or just images, basic images that they could use and grasp onto. I feel like that would really help. And yeah, I could just send that over Discord, but at that point, might as well just live stream it so that other people can interact too, if they want. Nobody's in this live stream, so woohoo. Might as well send it out to a couple of my buddies. Oh. Message. I'm not too concerned about being too professional. Let's just full out screen that so I can see the whole thing. Oh gosh. Okay, so keep that up. I don't want to keep that up. I'm just gonna keep my phone up here so I can see if someone messages me. All right. Maybe I'll just send a message into the Discord. I don't know how to fucking... Oh, there it is. So anyway, back to D&D. I feel like at this point, because they are in the forest, like my initial reaction is to find some way to make wolves cool. And I had this idea for a clan of druids that, however long ago, made the decision, okay, we're done with humanity. We no longer wish to presume a human form. And so they just turned into a pack of various animals. All of them able to intermingle. They only become human for the purposes of procreating, or not. They may, choose to procreate with the animal of their choosing. And then once a child reaches that age of decision, then they choose that animal form. And when they do that, because they're clerics, not clerics, but druids, or I think even cooler would be paladins, is they have very, very rudimentary spellcasting. So they have like the cantrips or smite. I think that would be fucking cool. Because I think it's in the rules. Like if you multiclass druid and paladin, that you are able to use smite in animals in wild shape. So I think it'd be cool that if their ability to wild shape was like, you're no longer wild shaping into the animal, you're wild shaping into a human. I feel like they would be sacrificing, a certain amount of spellcasting for that. And that would maybe work on some of these guys. I think one of them's like chaotic neutral, chaotic good. Another one's lawful good. Another one's chaotic good. And another is true neutral? I don't remember. It would be interesting, at the very least. Oh, I should keep an eye on chat. But that would at least, like, do something, I feel like. Rather than just, here's some winter wolves. I mean, winter wolves are neat, but they feel like... I don't know. There are certain things that just, like, feel like a DM decided on that. Like, kind of like goblins. Like, throwing a couple of goblins at a party feels like the DM decided to do that. What happened was I showed my players a goblin camp. They did not need to engage. They chose to engage because they thought that this goblin camp might have the kid from the human that kidnapped him. Let's ignore that because that doesn't make any fucking sense. At least in a meta sense. For characters that don't necessarily know goblins too well, except for one of them who is a goblin, but he doesn't know goblin culture that well. Or at all, actually. At the very least, for those characters, I mean, that was a sensible decision to make, which led to a couple hours of really fun play, and it's going to lead to a couple hours, I think, of really fun roleplay this time. I think this session might be a bit more roleplay heavy than anything else, but if in the event that it's not, if they just kind of brush it aside within 15 minutes, then I might have to find some additional combat. Because I don't know if I know what I want to do with the village that they walk into. I know what I want to do with it. I know exactly what's going to happen when they get there. I know what they're going to see. I have a good sense of how I'm going to describe it. That's fine. When they get there, though, they're going to find both something that I'm not ready for, as well as role play that I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go down based on the decisions they make. And that's going to be entirely on the spot. So, message from the mom. Oh, jeez. All right. I feel like at this point I should just like share the entire screen that I'm using, but I don't want to. And at this point I don't think like it's necessary to have that up. All right. So, I mean, I have ideas for what they're going to find when they get there. I mean, I know, the people, the problem that they're going to encounter. But I want to lead this into something a little bit more classic D&D. I want them to dungeon delve. For some of them, the first time in their lives. And I feel like that would be really, really fun. Ooh, Banshee, what do you do? Bound to the place of its demise, unable to venture more than 5 miles from there. It's forced to relive every moment of its life with perfect recall. Oh, jeez. God damn it, cat. Fucking asshole. Where did I put the chat box? You can't just drop a heart in there, you dumbass. Alright, fine. Alright. Anyway. Vanities that inspired the Banshee's curse creature persists on death. Oh, okay. So they're like magpie ghosts. Oh, all banshees are elves? I don't know how I feel about that. Because I said so, and fuck you. Oh god. I love its little arms. Oh, is it capturing my cursor on here? I should have it. I should have it do that. Cancel. Not what I meant. Fuck off. Let's just remove that. Oh, I have to actually have it highlighted. Okay. Properties, capture cursor. There we go. Okay, cool. That's actually kind of helpful also because like it's going to be in relation to where it is on the second screen I'm using. internet and... Okay. I love its little arms. It's so fucking... It's almost cute if it wasn't like 20 feet long. How big is this thing actually supposed to be? Class... Challenge rating 11. Damn. Alright. What is the... What am I actually supposed to put together for... DM screen, there we go. DMG says 300, 400, 600, maximum of 800. Okay. That's right. And then we're into the beholders. I can't throw an actual beholder at them, but maybe a spectator. I forget. Oh, there's 700. That's on the upper end, and just one at a couple players who were pretty damn new. Just look at this fucker. I love like the idea of these though. They're just like massively like paranoid, xenophobic monstrosities of just like, I am going to possess and destroy anything in my territory. Like, this is mine. This area is mine. Anything else can stay the fuck out. And I will go after anything that tries to get the fuck in. And they'll like just hoard things like magical things. Like, they're dragons. Like, they're kind of the essence of what dragons used to be. But this, like, beholders give me, like, they got a different aesthetic to them and they have slightly different, like, abilities. But they give me the freedom to do what I actually want to do with dragons. I fucking love dragons, but not for, like, the whole, like, collecting gold, hoarding wealth, that thing. Maybe for the, you know, the evil chromatic dragons. But for, you know, the good aligned dragons, or at least the non-evil aligned ones, I really like the idea of, like, because dragons are kind of the essence of magic, you have... I feel like it would be cooler for dragons to each have, like, a couple spells that they almost, like, identify with or as, and then those spells tend to influence how they view the world. And with that, you get very interesting personalities. And almost because of that, they become very naturally attuned with and aligned with different gods. And I think that would be really cool. Just because, like, different types of magic have different domains, and the domains come from the different gods. And then you would have the possibility for, because the gods come from different, like, basically different dimensions, you have the possibility for dragons that are purely of this dimension. They are aligned with us, or whatever that is. And I think the only way that this could exist is if a mortal being who's not, like, interacting with almost at all with divine magic, they interact only with arcane magic, that someone who interacts so heavily with arcane magic, they ascend into the form of dragon. And I think that would be really, really cool. Because that also fits in line with, like, how I view, how I personally view magic and deities in D&D overall, which is a little more complex than I want to get into. Talking to a whole one person who I've probably already talked about this before. Let's... we should text Kenny. I feel like I've waited long enough to reblog it. Anyway. So, like, I could throw a bugbear at them. But I could also, like, I don't know, do what I wanted to do earlier. Yeah. Alright. Minimize the fucking Discord. Hey, other people will probably watch this back. Yeah, no, I don't know if I want to, like, leave the session prep up. But I think I'm gonna, like, here's the thing. I want to do more live streams just because, like, I hate uploading. I hate uploading. I don't want to edit. I don't want to script. I don't want to do that shit. So I think what would be fun is just to, like, live stream, like, short bits and just let that stay up. I mean, I know, like, some of the most popular YouTubers for Yu-Gi-Oh! That's exactly what they do. But I mean, obviously, theirs is a little bit more in depth because they've got a more professional streaming setup, and they've got more. I don't know. One of them, he'll go, like, back and edit it, and, like, after it's live streamed, go back, edit it, cut it down, and then. But I don't like that. I just want to put it out there. You know, I don't actually give a shit about, like, doing YouTube, but I want to, like, I want to share, like, at least some of, like, the fun work that I get to do for, like, D&D, just for vlogs, for Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is a bit different because I can just, like, record, like, a deck profile or a quick, like, rant from my phone and just upload it straight from my phone. This is a little bit more difficult. Why does this exist? What is this fucking thing? It's a challenge rating 1/4. Why would you ever make this? What use does this have? Unless you, like, need a helpless species in the swamp. This is my swamp. So, like that's it. Shrek is a bullywug, confirmed. Half orc, half bullywug. Chimera. I can't fucking wait to start throwing shit like chimeras at my players, but I can't go up to, like, a challenge rating 4 yet. Centaurs are challenge rating 2. That'd be interesting, because I feel like centaurs would be a good precursor to the whole, like, druid, paladin, wolf clan that I had in the forest, at least. I feel like I could introduce a centaur to my players as, like, maybe a guide for the forest to get them to the thing faster. And my girlfriend can't type. I don't know, it's like a guide to the forest would be interesting. Or, like, he doesn't, like, hang out because they already have an NPC with them, but she doesn't know anything. Like, she's, like, as even the fact that she's, like, in her mid, like late 20s, early 30s already. She doesn't really know shit about the outside world, except for like a couple of very specific things if they ever get to find that out. But she's like their healer, quote unquote, which doesn't help one of the players because they can't be healed by magic. It's great. And they haven't found that out yet. A chul. It's fucking weird. Majestic flap flap. Ah, yes. That thing. Challenge rating 1/2, really? Looks so big. Must not be. Armor class 11, hit points 27. What? 66 for a... Excuse me? For a for a challenge rating 1/2? The fuck? What is this? Oh, that's cool. But what I want to get to is... I want to get to G's so that I can look at, like, goblins. I mean, I've already looked at goblins. Shit, I threw goblins at them. The fuck is... My god. That looks like the one Pokemon, Daimaruka or something like that. I don't know. Kenny says he's watching. Hello, Kenny. I don't know. Fists, that's a thing. I don't... Okay, so actually, Kenny, I want to tell you what I was looking at to do for, like... I don't know if I want to throw this at them right away. Just because, like, it would take a little bit of, like... I would need to look at something else. But I had this idea for, like, a clan of druids that became so, like, enamored with their god that they essentially also became paladins. And after, like, decades and decades of, like, we're living in the forest, we are part of this forest, we want to be closer to this forest and therefore our god, let's just swap the whole wild shape thing. Let's just wild shape into people instead and just maintain an animal form. And they gave themselves a little bit more to their god, and they were able to do this at the sacrifice of a lot of their spell casting. So, as a result, you know, they would be up against these wolves that would have, like, auras and, like, cantrips and shit. But, like, maybe a level 1 spell. I think that might be a little bit much because it would have all of the stats of a wolf, probably even more due to the auras. But, I mean, let's dig into the... I mean, I should probably open up the... PHP... No, I want 5e. Let's open up that folder. And then... Player's Handbook, there we go. Oh, okay. So it just keeps the whole... Okay, cool. Let's get rid of that and that. But, like, if I were to pull from... like, let's say, like... I mean, Paladin's the more interesting thing. Because Paladins have the auras. So, I mean, Divine Health, Sacred Oath, Ability, Score Improvement, Extra Attack, Aura of Protection. Oh, they don't get the Aura of Protection until 6th level. That's pretty deep in. They start off with Divine Sense. What does that actually, like, literally do? I'm still, like... Here's the thing, is I'm still learning 5e. Make a new class, you coward. Fair. I actually... Hold on. I'll okay, this is going to be a tangent. This is the class for the... This is a homebrew class that I found on Tumblr, actually. And it's for a witch. And it's really, really neat. It's basically like an arcane cleric almost, because they have essentially the same thing as a cleric domain, but instead of that, it's a conduit. So they get to choose basically an aspect of magic that they align themselves with. So they get to choose either white magic or black magic, as well as like a theme to that. And so they needed a healer. I'm sorry, I refuse to let a party play without a healer. Except my party's getting in the way of that because one of them can't be healed by magic anymore. But, I mean, it starts off with a familiar. You pick the conduit. So, for example, I pick the white magic. Blood the blood white magic. So its domain basically gives it access to cure wounds, false life, aid, lesser restoration, beacon of hope, foreign death, or feigned death, rather. Foreign death. That's just called xenophobia. And imperialism. Let's go. It's got everything. It's got everything I would need. It's a very, very well designed class. And so it starts off with kind of general spells. It feels more it feels like a witch. It feels like a person that spent their time learning magic from herbs and potions, and that's where it derived its ability to, and it gets what 5e has, the arcane focus, so they don't necessarily always need components, but they're so well attuned with what magic is, they can sacrifice these components. They gain their prepared spells are literally tattoos down their arms, and the higher level the spell, the more complex and big the tattoo is. It's so fucking cool. That's in the character sheet here. I fucking love it. But I don't know, it feels so well-rounded without being I don't know, it doesn't seem overpowered. It the worst thing that it gets, its level 20 kind of sucks. It gets oh come on, where's its level 20 thing? It gets the Witch's Hut. It gains access to a magnum opus of magical feats. You may conduct a ritual that costs 1,000 golds and takes 24 hours to perform on any dwelling that you can see that is no more than 30 feet in any dimension. This hut grows exceptionally large chicken legs and can move at a speed of 30 feet per round. So if I wanted to, I could just give them a level 20 wizard and have Howl's Moving Castle. Which I think would be really cool, because a level 20 witch would have at least access to probably someone who knows how to make it bigger on the inside, which would be a lot of fucking fun. Unfortunately, I didn't want to give them an NPC that was just she can save the day whenever. I want them to be able to have to save their own asses, and I don't know if I'm going to have her level up as fast as them. But she's currently level 3, which means she has access to a lot of basic healing magic. We'll find out if they can. I've actually never had a character go past level, I think 7. The highest level character I had was Will in our campaign with Chris. So, God, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get a drink. I should have music going, actually. Let's go. No copyright sounds. Drop on that autoplay. Is it picking that up? Yes, it is. Okay. Alright. I will be right back. I need a fucking snack and a drink, because it's warm in here and I can't turn on my AC because it's right there. God. I'm gonna need to turn that on at least for a little bit before I do Anyway, so, actual session prep shit, I think it would behoove me to actually move on to, the next quote-unquote plot point. I'm trying to, actually line this up so I can actually, sit level with the table, but can't do that. Or maybe if I just, put up a fucking, pillow right there. Why did this summon that? That ain't doing, Chief. Oh, I have one. Okay, oh, this is making me nervous. There's no way. No. Once to do about that. I just don't. I'm like just constantly sit in front of it. Wait. Oh wait. I don't care. I just don't. Okay. Yeah. Ain't that right? So. Oh, god damn. I'm not a fan of this coffee table, but we literally pulled it out of the garbage. Wait, you want some ASMR? I actually really like this mic. It was worth the $100 that I spent for a fucking Blue Yeti. But I mean, it comes really handy, like with the fact that like I'm doing this online. I have really good audio quality. Nobody ever like my internet's good enough that like it doesn't like at all distort my audio. At least I don't think it does. But what was I saying? But my point being that like, you know, I am always clear. If I have to ask a player, Daedric ASMR, I don't know. As long as like I can be heard, I don't mind asking my players to repeat something they said, and the players don't seem to mind either. But if I couldn't be understood, then that would be a major problem. So I think the $100 just to play D&D was fucking worth it. Because like buying the books that I have was totally optional. Like I have a physical copy of each of the made 5e books now. And I didn't even mean to do it, but I accidentally bought a limited edition version of the Monster Manual. It's like foily, kind of. It's neat. Where's the, there we go. I don't know. It's handy. God, this cat, I swear to God. You're ruining my ability to breathe. So anyway, the witch is cool. But I'm looking at the on hands fighting style. Second level, you get a fighting style. While you're wearing armor, you get a +1 bonus to AC. Druids can't wear armor, and even when they wild shape, it like meshes with their fur or their new form, so like it doesn't necessarily affect what their new form. When you're wielding a melee weapon, none of them are going to be wielding melee weapons. Great weapon fighting again. Well, hold on. Yeah, with a melee weapon. Protection. When a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. You must be wielding a shield. Like, none of them would be able to take advantage of this. And that really sucks. Like, I can't just throw out... I don't even know what it was from. All I see is an image of, like, a dog with a paintbrush. And I know it's connected to some video game, although I don't know fucking what. So, like, it's a thing, for sure. Okay, I need to flip this horizontally, because that is actually killing me inside. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that part of my trackpad doesn't work anymore. Configure video, yes. Camera control, flip horizontal. Okay, there we go. Alright. Nope, I just did it backwards again. Fuck off, Liam. Jesus. Okay, there we go. So. This would be easier if like I could just like, yeah, I think eventually like, maybe it would just be better if I flipped the room. Like I just like have like the TV over there and shit. That might be better in the long run. I'll look to do that later. But it's just like we have so much junk sitting right behind the couch. Anyway, spellcasting they gain it at 2nd level. Where did Where did that table go? Oh, there we go. Spellcasting slots per level. So they get 2 first level spells at second paladin level. And to my knowledge, like, you can't adequately, like, translate a character level. Like, if you're just making a character, you can't adequately transfer that into, like, a challenge rating, because monsters and NPCs are supposed to work differently than player characters. I can't remember who was talking about this, or if it was in one of the books, or if it was on a forum or whatever. But they basically mentioned that, like, an NPC's, or especially an enemy's, lifespan is going to be measured in rounds, not years of, like, actual life. And as a result, you kind of have to let them do more than regular players, but it just has to seem like more without actually, like, because you don't want to kill the characters. You don't want to kill the players. Or at least, like, right away. This is on no copyright sounds. What the fuck? No, this is not okay. I do not want to get a strike on my channel.
All the choices you made, did you make them again, 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 again? All the lies that you told, did you believe in them?
Alright, there we go.
All the choices you made, did you make them again, 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 again? All the lies that you told, did you believe in them again?
Alright, got that. I often wanted to kill Horus' characters, and you can remember why. Wait, in your own campaign or in Chris's? Because I remember, wasn't Aurora in your campaign initially, as well as Chris's? Because I don't remember. Anyway. You best be thankful. Oh, in your campaign. And maybe you shouldn't have taken that out on me. Kidding. So, like, I don't know. I feel like I just gotta have to send them at the city. Because, okay, Kenny, this is what they're doing right now. My players are running after a kidnapped child. That was one time. It was one time and then I didn't rejoin. Granted, that's on me. Fair. But you have a 100% kill rate for me in your campaign. 100%. Anyway, so my characters are chasing after a kidnapped kid. They managed to save 2 out of 3 people, but I wasn't gonna let them save all 3 just because I need them to willingly go through parts of this country. Players need to realize that okay, we don't know what's out there, as well as the characters need to realize that. My Dragonborn character never died. My Dragonborn character I thought was in Chris's campaign. I never played a Dragonborn for you. I've only played in your character with the Catfolk. I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember playing in anything else like with you as a DM. But anyway, so they're running after, and I needed them to make the choice: are we going to go after the kid, or are we going to just keep going to do what we were already doing? I needed to. Oh, was that your? I could have sworn that campaign was Chris's. I always remember that as having been Chris's campaign. I don't know why. I keep fucking misremembering that. Anyway. So I needed to know that them as players and characters, are they the type that would like, okay, we're just going to keep doing what we were already doing. We're not going to let anything distract us. This was, the quest, the mission, the goal. Or are they going to, like, okay, we can't how easily can they be distracted? And granted, I gave them good motivation to make that decision, but they also had player motivation, at least one of them did, who's the strongest role player of the group by far, to say, no, we gotta keep going. He had the potential as a player and, like, as a role player and a character to convince them to keep going. He chose not to do that. So now I have a better sense of, like, how he's playing his character. So now I know that I can distract them with, at the very least, a victim. I can distract them with a victim. And so they're running through a forest. What they're going to do is they're going to wind up, if they keep going. If they keep going, and I'm going to let them get there no matter, like, if they make some really stupid choice and, like, turn 90 degrees. I'm just going to say they keep heading forward. And they magically know which way is what. Or at the very least, they run into, like, I think it's really be cool to give them a centaur, and have that kind of be their guide through the forest, so they can avoid the monsters and ancient druid clans that I was talking about earlier. But they get there, and they're gonna find an abandoned town. In that abandoned town, not so abandoned, but it's not on any map. It's near impossible to find because it's not on any roads anymore. What it used to be was they're actually following a dead riverbed. This riverbed got forcibly dammed up. Really? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that character. That's right, because I was really mad about that. That's just a difference in, like, how you and I DM. That made me, like, yeah. I'm not salty about that anymore. But, like, I remember how upset I was about it. Anyway, so once they get to this town, what they're gonna find is it was not a remarkable character. No, it was not. That's because I didn't honestly think I'd be playing in the campaign for that long, but, like, I don't know. I have. Okay, no, I keep getting on tangents. I will come back to this. So once they get to the town, what they're going to find is this city, which was effectively killed by one of the larger cities in this country damming up a river and, like, totally diverting it another direction. What they're going to find is that the people never left. What they did was they got by, they started to learn how to hunt, but now they can't do that so well because a lot of them are sick, a lot of them are older, and so now they kind of get by on pillaging. And they're not quite barbarians, but they're getting there. They're on that transition from, like, more reasoned, like, quote-unquote civilized life towards a more barbaric culture. And they have a distinct enemy, but they don't necessarily know that. They know that they were fucked over by the government of Andina, the country they're in. But they don't necessarily know that it was the church that pushed for it. It was the church, specifically the Church of Palor. The Church of Palor is one of those ones that is so huge, at the very least in Andina, but also, like, in a lot of places around the world, including Kruthon to the north, and I can't remember what the name of the empire is to the south. But it's he's just so massively prevalent. But they've been doing a lot of things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense. Their political maneuvering is starting to just accumulate them power rather than accumulating help. They rotate priests around and healers so frequently that no real cleric has any community presence, which means people are starting to go to the church less. People trust the church less. But the people who trust the church are those with influence, those who know that the church will kind of capitulate to anything as long as they get something out of it. And why that is, nobody really knows. I told you about who I want as the main antagonist, but as this isn't necessarily a direct result of the main antagonist, but more one specific administrator's goal to please the antagonist. He wants the church to accumulate power and influence, and that is all well and good by Orcus's standards, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't have anything to do, and so I think what's gonna happen is once the players learn that it was the church that dammed up this town, because I think this is going to have an emotional impact on the players and the characters. I think they're going to find themselves wanting to make an enemy of the church. And if that happens, they're going to learn that the head administrator for Andina, for the Church of Palor, and the Andinian administrator for the Church of Palor is going to attempt to summon, or at the very least they're going to think he's attempting to summon Orcus, when in reality he's just trying to contact him, but that takes a lot of effort when he exists on another plane of reality, and nobody really knows how to get a hold of a sorcerer that's lived for thousands of years and is attempting to become a god. Doesn't exactly carry his cell phone with him. And so I think that they're going to make the attempt to stop him. And if that happens, that is when I'm going to have Orcus basically win his fight against Palor. And so as a result, shit's going to go down. That's going to be like Act 1. Right now, I just need to get them to this town and get them to realize what's going on there. When they get there, it's going to kind of depend on them what happens. They're not going to... The town's not necessarily going to recognize these three unless it's the one guy who escaped. Did he communicate that? Like what these people look like? Probably not. He doesn't necessarily think he's being chased. The guy's like... They left the ransom. Obviously, they're not going to want to hurt the kid, so they're not going to chase after. Hurting the kid's an empty threat, though. This is an entire village. They have kids, they have the sick, they have the elderly, they have women. They've got, victimizable people, so they understand that they themselves can be the victim. They have some basic level of empathy still there. At the very least, they have they have fear. And so it's going to kind of warp their thought. If they get in there, so if the players get to this town and just kind of shout, "We're here to get the kid back," that's going to be a problem. If they walk through it and just kind of like realize most of these houses are filled with people shitting themselves to death, then it's going to go a different way. At the very least until the end. Once, like, the guy realizes, oh, those are the fuckers that tried to stop us. Get them. And then they have a bunch of, humans on their backs. And I guess that's not, like, exactly the most difficult encounter to design for, like, choosing what's there and creating something that's, like, difficult for them to get out of. Because most of the people there aren't going to be fighters. They're going to be family members. People who, some of them probably want to leave the town, but they don't because that's not what the men of the village decided. And that's going to be, I think, a point of contention at the very least, to a certain extent, is the fact that the men of the village decided nobody leaves. This is our home. We are going to maintain it. I think this could be, that would be a reasonable means to like, oh, okay, we just got him. We'll bring you back with us, or you can decide for yourselves. And if they decide, if the players say, no, decide for yourselves, fuck off, I don't care, then they're probably going to, at the very least, some of them will leave. Some of them will really want to leave. Others maybe not so much. And if that's the case, then they're just going to die, because they were staying afloat almost entirely through plundering. So, yeah. I honestly don't remember what the alignment of most of my PCs is. Let me open... Excuse me. Mostly because, like, I don't think alignment really matters that much. I only have the actual, like, literal stats written out, like, in their entirety for one player, and I think it's... Oh, I don't have it at all for any of them. Huh. Do I only have it for my NPC? Yeah, I only have it for my NPC. Interesting. Oh, I don't even remember making these NPCs. Francis Brossard, Church Arbitrator of the Church of Lorva of Endina. He is sent from Orcus. Oh, that's right. No, that's right, because I'm just doing Paylor. I decided not to go with like a stand-in. Yeah. Be aware that some of your characters might start a revolution within the dying culture to forcibly switch the patriarchy for the matriarchy. I mean, they could. That doesn't strike me as these characters, though. I've got a lot of beginner role players, so it's... I wouldn't call them flat characters by any means, because a lot of these guys have experience just in a lot of creative writing, or creative endeavors in general. So, like, but they can be pretty easily summed up. We have the Edgy Rogue, really, really Edgy Rogue. We have essentially a fighter, like a drain tank character who's kind of like hood over face, mask up, you don't know who I am kind of character. And actually, the player just sent me a lot of his backstory. And whoo boy, I really got a kick out of it. It's really, it's got a lot of depth to it, and gives me a good sense of like what they do. They have like this, like, you don't know who I am, justice is righteous, and only ever fighting, that kind of thing. We also have the Singsong Bard, who just did it for the lulz. Not actually, but they're trying to, like, the character themselves is trying to find like an identity beyond just street urchin. So he's in a little. He's going to be mostly driven by like a sense of glory and purpose, or the attainment of purpose. And we have another like a noble / wizard character who is, or noble / sorcerer character who his main drive is the acclamation of, not necessarily of wealth and power, but the acclamation of experience as well as wealth, so that they can go back home and do some stuff. but they do have a very like naive sense of right and wrong, because they like lived a very sheltered early existence. They're only level 3 because of practice. They have no practical experience. And so I really like the idea. I really like the fact that a lot of these characters have solid motivations and, so far, more solid personalities. Like even the like Edgy Rogue and You Don't Know Me characters have very in-depth backstories that actually mean something and influence decision making. As well as like, as they grow as role players, I think they'll develop more like social quirks with these characters. But that just comes with time. I don't know. I'm really excited for it. But I don't know what to do with like that town though. Because if it's nothing but people, I feel like just fighting people would get a little bit boring because we've already done that. But like we already did that because like the person was from there. So I feel like it would make a lot of sense to have like, I think, oh, maybe that's what I should do. Oh, I should edit the description for my live stream if I can.
It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity.
Yeah, okay. Oh, am I frozen? No, I'm not. Okay, so I was just sitting way too still. Alright. So, yeah. Let's minimize that. Right now, they're just kind of like stumbling into the world. And they're gonna find this guy really high up in the church. Oh, I don't want to think that far ahead right now. I think now that I have like a decent stream setup, I will be able to like, because one of the thing that this forces me to do is this forces me to talk out loud, which really helps me. And like, I'm here with a purpose. And being here with a purpose, the place that like the thing gets done, that helps me so fucking much. Like, one of the reasons that I have problems like getting into creative writing is like, it's just so difficult for me to like get that first paragraph out. Not the first sentence. I will write a first sentence 20 times, delete the document and quit. Because it's so hard for me to like concretely get a sense of like what I'm writing. That, I don't know. I only have one story right now that I want to write. That's not like this D&D session. Or this D&D campaign, rather. And it's such, I feel like such a big task, like a big project, that I want to start smaller, but I don't want to write anything else. So it's tough. It's actually really, like, it's a bit of a catch, 22, and I don't like it. Let's see, this is Paladin. Monk. Let's take a look at Druid. What kind of like Druid shit happens in D&D. Ability score improve. Wait. Circle of the land or circle of the moon. Okay. Circle of the land is made up of mystics and sages who safeguard ancient knowledge and rites through vast oral tradition. Shoots meet within a sacred circle of trees, standing stones used for animals. Ah. Okay.
The back and forth has got me so messed up.
Okay, so you pick a circle and you pick like a type of land. Once you get to those levels, you get the spells. Okay, eh. Not the biggest deal, but whatever. I don't know. It's I feel like if I introduce them to the concept of this clan, like it also gives them the opportunity to befriend it, but I don't feel like they would. So I don't know if like even providing that option would like mean anything other than like being a cool part of this forest that we get to interact with. Because I feel like these the idea for these like more than like animalistic druids, I guess would be a good way to refer to them as. A good thing to refer to them as. They serve as like flavor, but also like within the story they serve as like a guardian of this forest. And I feel like as a guardian they would need to be higher level than these players can deal with. So I feel like I should know about them. Like I should know like druid spells. Yeah, let's just make them just druids. I feel like paladin would be a little bit too complex and not totally useful. So, yeah. Where are my bookmarks? Create character. Races, classes. Party game. Adventuring, combat. Spell list, there we go. Bard spells, cleric spells, druid spells, there we go. So like, oh god, do I need to open up another fucking window for this? Can I keep this in the same thing? Oh, cool. Druidcraft. Let's scroll for that. Oh, do I need to fix the... There we go. That's better. Right. What is Druidcraft? Maybe I should probably retitle my live stream. Oops. Okay, so that help. I need to make sure that this like stream looks correct. All right. So like I should probably like pick just like a couple like specific spells from the Druid spell list, so that like if this matters, then like I can pull from it. So let's go back to that's Burning Hands. Nope, too far. Druidcraft. Create a tiny, harmless sensory effect that predicts what the weather will be at your location for the next 24 hours. The effect may manifest itself as a golden orb. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Alright, there we go. Falling snowflakes for snow and so on. The effect persists for 1 round. You instantly make a flower pot. Seed pod open. Oh, okay. So very small, like, kind of like what you might do with Minor Illusion, except it's like very real. Oh, okay. Makes lighting a fire pretty easy. I feel like that wouldn't be too useful for a druid who, like, I don't know, it'd be neat to have. It's good for flavor, as most cantrips tend to be. Guidance, mending, poison spray, produce flame, resistance, shibboleth. What does this do? QR. Alright, we're in the S. Looking for Shilliga. Shilligla. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Oh, okay. Water Club, a quarterstaff you are holding will be the nature's power. Yeah, that doesn't help. Okay. That's good. That's a cool spell, though. I like it. What's the duration on that? Full minute? Not bad. Animal Friendship, Charm Person, Courage, Destroy Rot, or Cure Wounds. Animal Friendship, obviously, would be a big one. Charm Person, maybe. Create or Destroy Water. Probably not. Because they're supposed to be, like, of the forest, not, like, working in spite of it. Like, if they can't get something from the forest, they probably don't necessarily want it. But, like, manipulating what's already there may be a different story. Fog Cloud, definitely. Fog Cloud would definitely be a useful one. Goodberry, I think that just like heals. Maybe? I don't remember what Goodberry does. Goodberry. Up to 10 berries appear in your hand or infused with magic for the duration. A creature can use its action to eat 1 berry. Restores a hit point, and the berry provides enough nourishment to sustain a creature for 1 day. Berries lose their potency if they have not been consumed within 24 hours of casting the spell. Oh. Removes the need for rations. Interesting. Again, not exactly what I'm looking for, but... I don't know. Maybe something. Purify food and drink would definitely be a big one. Jump and long strider, big ones. Thunder wave, maybe. If I'm going for like a Pokemon attack, sure. Thaumaturgy, Thorn Whip, Thunder Wave. There we go. We have a Force. Each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from you. Okay, so it's like 5 feet in both directions. Okay. On a failed save, creature takes 2d8 thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet away from you. Okay. This would be interesting, like, because they work as a pact. If, like, several of them use this at once to just, like, force you out of the space. And if you happen to die, then fuck you. I don't know how to think about that. I honestly don't know what I think about that. I feel like this music's a little loud, though. Why doesn't it list who has access to the spell, like on the spell itself? I feel like that'd be cool. What does Tree Stride do? Fuck it. 5th level spell. Enter a tree and move from inside it to another tree of the same kind within 500 feet. Both trees must be living and at least the same size as you. Must use 5 feet of movement to enter a tree. Instantly know the location of all other trees of the same kind within 500 feet. Ooh, this is cool. Concentration spell up to a minute? What I think would be neat is because, like, the more I think about these, like, wolf, this like, druid wolf idea, I think it would be really neat if they were just, like, that high level. That they really felt like spiritual guardians of this forest. Or maybe even of, like, all the nature of Endina. Excuse me. And as a result, like, maybe in exchange for, like, how much magic they gave up, they were able to do different things with it. Like, if one of them was able to maintain, like, if one of these druids was able to maintain concentration of the spell, what if the entire pack could take advantage of it? I think that would be really fucking cool. Or even if not, like, all of them. At the very least, like, the one that can use Tree Stride. What if you had, like, an amulet of trees? Like a belt or a glove or something, like some wearable thing that gave you Tree Stride? Oh, that would be cool. Oh, I don't know. I am starting to feel a little bit out of it. I'll be honest. I think I'm just because I've been talking for so long, and it's starting to get a little bit warm in the apartment. It's up to 80 now. Okay, this was really helpful. I think when it comes to literally the things that happen in today's session, I'm pretty well set. I think what's going to happen is, like, once they get to the town, they'll encounter humans and elves and maybe a halfling family or so. But, like, it's going to be, like, low-level fighters, but it's going to be enough of them that it poses a risk. Like, what is it in... No, I want the monster man. Like, isn't there a thing, like, at the end of it? Features, characters, 3.2. Tribal warrior, medium humanoid, thug, veteran. Veteran has a challenge rating of 3. Yeah, maybe like no one's willing to fight, but you have like this one big guy and like 2 smaller guys. But like he's so, maybe he's so like injured that he can't make like this many attacks. So like that would probably adequately bring down the CR of this, because I don't necessarily want to be throwing a CR 3 and 2 CR halves at him. I feel like that wouldn't do what I want it to do. But get over here, cat. Come here. Get up here. There we go. Nope. Guess what? You're staying here. Say hello to the internet. Cool. Alright, go.
Some work in progress, good things go slow. I'm no saint. I fall and you pick me up again. You got your habits, got them too. Just feel like maybe I could lose them with you. Sinking in.
Cat, I don't know why your ears get this weird, gross black gunk. Nor do I understand why you eat it. Yeah, this will be easy enough to like go off of. 1d8 plus 3 slashing, or 1d10 plus 3 slashing. Yeah. Yeah, so give the veteran 2 multi-attacks instead of 3, and throw a couple thugs at him. Yeah, okay. It's something at least. I'm getting a little bit tired. I think what I need to do is, since I've just been talking for so long, take a break for a bit, because I feel adequately ready for this session. Or at least more ready than I was ready last week. I just like threw a... Last week all I did was, I threw goblins at them, like I said. But I based their camp off of one of the camps from Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and just went with it, and none of them noticed until I said something. And I think this is like kind of marking the point of that campaign where like my DMing becomes real, and so I've got to stop saying something. Like, for example, when I was DMing year before, for... God, I can't even remember who all was in that campaign. I just lifted, just straight up, the layout of the Hyrule Castle from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and it went over really well. They enjoyed it. I threw a vampire at them. It was kind of tedious but fun. It felt kind of empty, and I feel like the way that I'm DMing now, because of like I've got both more experience and I'm a little bit more confident myself, it doesn't feel quite as empty. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I enjoyed doing my session prep this way because like it forces me into a situation where like this is what I'm doing. I'm not performing it. This just puts me on the spot, and I perform much better when I'm on the spot. Or at least I feel like I do. I feel like I'm made to think about it. And so this is helpful. Thank you, Kat and Kenny, for chilling for a bit. I'm sure you hated every second of it, but regardless. Yeah. I might actually like stream our sessions in the future. I'm not confident enough in doing that. And I want them to be as comfortable with themselves as players first and foremost. Because if I don't have that, then we don't have a campaign. And sharing that campaign comes secondary to us having that campaign. That's just how it goes. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me for a bit. Where's my thing? No, where's OBS?